All right. Hey, everybody. It's Greg Kettner with the WorkHappy podcast. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're driving your car, on the treadmill, walking the dog, doing laundry. I don't know, whatever else it is that we might do. But the podcast is basically, I love having people come on. I love it even more when my friends come on and just share how they work happy, the lessons they've learned, so that we can all work happy. Because when we are in a happy mood, we have better mental health, we make more money, we have better relationships with our wives and our kids, our spouses, work, all that kind of stuff. My guest today is Geoff McLachlan, just a good, solid dude. We've done conferences together. We've been late almost to speaking at conferences.
Thank you very much for having me, man. It's always good to, one, see your beautiful, wonderful face, and to be able to chat and share the knowledge that we've gained over the last however long we've been doing this, which is, I don't know, for me, almost 20 years now. So, but yeah, that's crazy, man. It's been a wild ride. I love it. Wouldn't change anything, except for maybe one or two things.
The bus trip in Scotland.
The bus trip in Scotland. I'm telling you, okay, for those of you that are listening right now, I just got back from a trip with Scotland with my son and 50 teenagers, 50 teenagers. And let me just tell you, when you change a teenager's diet in a foreign country, let's just say that there can be some nasty consequences. And oh my gosh, the bus was an all-out attack on your olfactory senses. And I even found a sign that became our motto on the bus. And every single boy that passed me, I was like, "Thou shalt not pump the bilges on the canal," which means no releasing of the gases. Just not okay. So
sit tight. Hold on.
It was horrible. It was just awful. It was just awful. But
God,
yeah, it was a great trip.
You told me that story the other day. I was laughing so hard.
I'm telling you, man, tears, and not of joy or happiness or laughter. They were tears of, oh, what is that smell? It was bad. It was bad.
You're a speaker and coach. You have more of a flexible schedule like I do. But was there one moment where there was like a bonding or a really happy moment where like you clicked with your son, like something came up or a conversation, anything like that during the trip?
Oh yeah. So I tried to give him a lot of freedom and autonomy because he's in the 8th grade, and I just check in with him, take pictures here and there for the wife and the kids here at home.
Yeah.
But really the last day, we went on a little tour together that was not on our tour. We added a little something extra. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to take my son and we're just going to go wander around Edinburgh and just have some fun. And so we went around, and it was just, we had fun. We went through, J.K. Rowling is from there, Harry Potter. There's this little road that goes off the Royal Mile that's the basis of Diagon Alley. And so it's these little shops, and it's just this little street that goes down. We ended up finding a secondhand store, and he bought a kilt. So he now has 2 because he bought 2 kilts. So he was so excited. And it was just really fun to have an adventure with him. And we just ran around. We were having a blast. It was such a great thing to, one, be able to do that with my son, but then 2, to be able to see all these kids from our area get this eye-opening view of, guess what? There's a whole lot of world out there to explore. And I think a lot of them got the travel bug. A bunch of them said they were going to come back and do it again when they were 18 and they could have frosty beverages. But so that was one moment. And then the other moment was we were at Urquhart Castle, which you can look it up. It's this old ruins right on this point, this rocky, craggy point on Loch Ness. And it was a gorgeous sunny day, which is pretty rare in Scotland, apparently. And a bunch of us, my son, myself, one of the other parents, and 2 other kids, ran down to the beach and stripped down and went swimming in Loch Ness. And so we went to find Nessie. It was a blast. It was really fun. Everybody's, the water's so cold. I was like, it's 40 degrees. You guys are fine. Quit being sissies. Let's go. And that was a magical moment because it was my son's first cold plunge. And he's like, I'm doing this in Loch Ness. And he had his Scotland underwear on, which was hilarious. And then as soon as we got done, we get all dried off and we're walking back up towards the castle. And one of the guys that's one of the guides that works there, he kind of is like, so what were you guys doing? Most people don't go to the beach. They come up to the castle. What are you guys doing down there? And we're like, oh, nothing. Why? And he goes, I hope you weren't swimming. We're like, why not? And he goes, oh, it's illegal. You can go to jail. And we're like, we're so sorry, sir. We were just swimming. We went for a little dip. I'm a lifeguard. It's okay. We're out now. Everybody's safe and sound. We will not do it again. And he goes, I didn't see it. It didn't happen. Just don't do it again.
Why is it not allowed swimming? Is safety or?
So it's a safety issue. So Loch Ness is extremely deep. It wasn't that cold. Like I said, it was about 40 degrees. So it was, but it was a beautiful day out. It was just spectacular. I can't talk enough about Scotland. It was just beautiful all around.
And that's part of professionals at play, right? Taking time for ourselves. And you and I are in the same lane. How do we be happy? How do we take care of our mental health and whatnot? The cold plunge, I know you do it. I don't know if I could. I probably should. But what does that do for our minds and our bodies by shocking it with cold water?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of science behind it. There's a great podcast if people are interested. It's Dr. Huberman, the Huberman Lab podcast. He talks about it, but he just was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and they spent probably a good hour talking about the cold plunge and the benefits of it. And one of the benefits in terms of mental health is you get a massive sustained dopamine hit. And dopamine is one of those things that it's one of the happiness chemicals. And so when you laugh, you get dopamine hits. When you check your voicemail or your email or your social media and you get likes, you get a little dopamine hit, which is why it's really addictive. But in all honesty, one of the things is that it's a sustained, prolonged dopamine release. And so it lasts with you for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours is that sustained high. And that's the high that people really are trying to get when they're searching for drugs and alcohol, that they're like, okay, I feel good now, but then there's that come down pretty quick. With the cold plunges, you get a sustained overall positive mental boost. And then your focus is much better, highly increased. Your sleep gets better. So I know it's weird, but when you cold plunge, your sleep gets better. You become more resilient. A cold shower will do the same thing. And it will pull you out of that state of frenetic energy or that state of anxiety. Wow. It's just fascinating. It's completely natural. You can just go cold water, face, boom, and it sucks you into the reality of right now. And you're no longer thinking about what's going to happen because your body goes, you're freezing to death, you need to react. And it's a survival mechanism. And it literally pulls you out of that anxiety. So that's another one of the benefits. So that's the guy that created it was Wim Hof. And he lost his wife to suicide, to depression and suicide. Oh. So he went in and he was like, I'm done. And he went to a river and was going to jump in and drown. And as soon as he jumped in, the freezing cold, he had the natural gasp reflex, which is because it's so cold. And he went, I'm alive. And the second he did that, he's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening, but it's got to be good. And so he got out of the water, came back the next day, did the same thing, jumped in the water, had the same reflex. And then he started researching and doing things. And then he just kept plunging every single day. And he found that his mental health and wellness went up. He was able to control his immune system, which he's got some fantastic claims that you look at and you go, that's impossible, but he's able to do it. It's legit. It's just one of those things. It's another spoke in the wheel. We have joy and laughter. Our goal as human beings is we want to find stability and comfort. But getting uncomfortable is how we make progress. And so getting out of that zone of comfort, of always being in the safe space is, it's detrimental to human beings, unfortunately. But it's what we seek. And so when we're in societies and our groups, we're constantly trying to fit in to find safety. But in those fringe areas is where we have the most growth. And so cold plunging, most people are not comfortable with that prospect of being really cold, even if it's just for a few minutes. And so but that's where that massive growth happens.
You run your own business, you have a family, you're married, there's all these different kinds of stresses. And for you, the cold plunge is one of the ways it works, right? And I love what you said. It's not the cure all be all, but for you, it's what works. For me, stress relief, rather than cold plunge, I'll go golfing, right?
Yeah.
And people like, I can't believe that you would take an hour out of your day and go golfing. If I go golfing, I get all the swear words out of the way for the day.
Yeah. And that's just usually the first hole.
Yeah. The first two swings. But once we're unstressed or de-stressed, however you want to say it, it frees up that space in our head so that we can work more efficiently.
Absolutely.
Be more creative,
Yeah.
be more productive, be more happy.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that people, if you have something that you love, whether that's hiking or golf or sports, or you want to watch comedy videos, if it's something that helps you to de-stress, because that cortisol drip, that's a natural reaction from, it's a fight or flight mechanism. It's there for a very specific purpose. It is there to keep you alive, but it's not there to keep you in a constant state of stress. So that fight or flight response is very interesting. It should be an immediate response. You see a bear, you go, oh shit, this is bad. Yeah. Oh, and you get this massive adrenaline rush, and you have energy and focus. You're going to get tunnel vision, and because you're in survival mode, and you're either going to A, have to fight a bear, or B, run like mad, drop whatever you have. Hopefully the bear goes for that stuff, and you full tilt boogie out. But then what'll happen is about 2.5 to 5 minutes later, you're going to get the shakes, and your body's going to start to come down, because that cortisol release has been so massive that it gives you all this extra energy, and it's that survival mechanism. If we have that slow drip of constant stress, which is what many people are in all the time. If you're stressed out from work and relationships and family and finances and everything like that, you have that slow cortisol drip. And what it's doing is it's extremely detrimental to your body. You know, it raises your blood pressure. We look at heart disease. It increases your body's, it lowers your immune system and increases your body fat. Not like fat burning, but it increases like body mass, because you're stressed and your body doesn't burn calories the same way. And so it's really interesting that as a society, a lot of the illnesses that we have are pretty much stress related or stress induced. And so if we can reduce that stress, whether, like you said, golf, oh my gosh, to go out and you take a club and whack something as hard as you can. That just feels good. Okay. And it's not going to cry. It's actually going to be like, I'm trying to hit this thing specifically. So you're focused. You have, if something goes wrong, you analyze it. So your natural inclination is to look at it and go, wait a minute, I did that wrong. And when you're free to do those things, when you're in that stress-free environment where you're actually engaged, you're having fun, a lot of times it allows your subconscious to solve problems that you've been thinking about for work, for play, for family issues, whatever it is. Your subconscious is working on it because it's allowed to. And it's this very freeing thing. And so that's what, like, the benefits of play and golf and having fun and doing stuff that you love is you're able to be more creative. And that's super important for a lot of different industries.
That's the thing with laughing. And I was doing some research, and one study was sharing that when you laugh, you actually burn calories. You can burn up to, I think, 15 calories if you laugh for 15 minutes. And I kept on reading, and it said sex burns even more calories if you get to have it. I'm a practical guy, so I tried combining the two, laughing and sex, and I burned about 47,000 calories because I was being chased for a couple hours. What are some of the organization's problems or challenges that have brought you in? Share with the listeners what you do, because I've seen you go on stage in a room full of people, nobody you've ever met, and within 10 minutes, these guys are playing Thumb Wars, just being kids again. What are the challenges, and what does playing Thumb Wars at a conference, what does that do for us, and how does that help us? overcome those challenges?
It's real interesting because I'm a true believer. Laughter, there are two really fast ways. The quickest ways to get to become friends with somebody else are through laughter and joy, which is play,
Yep.
or sadness and tragedy. So if you
Yep.
think about it, a lot of people, you could tell us exactly where you were, what you're doing when 9/11 happened. We know that.
Yep.
So that was a national tragedy that bonded people together. We weren't black and white. It was, we were all in this together because we were attacked. And so that massive tragedy united people in a way that we hadn't seen since probably World War II, realistically.
Yeah.
So that's one way, but the joy and laughter is the other way. And so if you can provide an opportunity for people to get together and meet and exchange slightly, just like the littlest little details about themselves. Who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing here? Simple little things. And then you play an activity that you actually engage them in physical contact, which is the thumb wars. So you're actually releasing a tiny bit of oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical with humans. And you laugh and you play a game. You revert back to this childlike state of wonder. And it's absolutely magical. You've seen it happen where you take a bunch of strangers who are at a conference together and you say, all right, go find a partner. And most of the time as human beings, again, we seek comfort. So we will sit with the people that we know. We will interact with the people that we know. And then we will ignore the other 95% of the people in the room. And I'm like, wait a minute. What if we could actually engage with each other in a meaningful way that allowed you to do it super fast, super easy, and in a fun manner? And it helped people to get out of their shells. And it was so that's how the play started. And it's amazing. A lot of people bring me in because they have either new employees, high turnover, and they want to get to know each other in a real quick manner, or they really want to deepen the bonds of relationships and they just don't know how, because a lot of times in business, they're focused on what's the bottom line, what are we doing, what product, what widget are we selling? And they don't really think a lot of times about how people who are working in the organization, if they actually have friendships, if they're actually engaged with each other on a personal basis, how much better they get at their jobs. And so the play aspect, and this is a really hard juxtaposition for people, is that if you play together as a group, they're going to be more creative, more engaged, less stressed, more focused, more productive, which means you're going to make more money. And so that right there, but they're like, you can't make money and play at the same time. Absolutely, you can. If you're intentional with it. Yeah. But so many people think it's like, okay, we'll put a ping pong ball or a ping pong table in the break room and that's play. There has to be a point to it. You have to have some intentionality behind it. And so helping organizations discover what would work for your team and what works for your organization, those are some of the reasons why people have brought me in. And then to actually facilitate play to kick things off. And then coaching comes on the end of it of, we're doing this, what can we do better? Where can we improve? And that kind of stuff. It's this very nice, it's a little niche market. And it's getting bigger as play is becoming more acceptable in the business world. And they're seeing that, oh, wait, if people are stressed out, they're not very good at their jobs. But if they're less stressed, they're better. And that means, oh, okay. So it's slowly starting to change in the business world. But it's still an uphill battle. It's one of those things. People are always going to go, you can't laugh at work. It's a serious business. I'm like, yeah, good luck. If I'm going to be there, there's no way we're not laughing. It's just going to happen.
No, exactly.
It has to.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I've talked to people who you worked with, and I can't believe we brought Geoff in. It was amazing. The communication was better. People who had never really talked to each other are getting along. And then as far as collaboration, right? If you've never talked to somebody that you work with, you have no idea that could become your best friend, or that there'd be a key piece in finishing the project that you're working on. So it's just, and I remember back when I was with the Vancouver Canucks, our mantra, our hashtag before there were hashtags, was work hard, play hard, right?
Yep.
Get the job done.
I've worked with some high level CEOs of some industries, like some business like mining companies, where you're working with people that are salt of the earth, hardworking people that are maybe a little rough around the edges, but at the same time, if they enjoy their jobs, their safety records go up. Their safety record improves because they care enough about the people around them to not let them do stupid stuff. And manufacturing, same thing. There are shortcuts you can take, but is that going to be really beneficial to the organization overall? Is it just a shortcut because you need to do X, Y, and Z just to get the job done? But we always know that shortcuts end up becoming long cuts because it just doesn't work that well. But if your team is engaged, if your team is there with each other, and they're going to say, wait, you can't do that. That weld right there, that's not going to hold if we do this. And we needed to do this. And so that's going to create work for us down the road. That's not work that we want to do. And it's bad for the client. So let's fix it now, because we have a relationship where I can call you out on stuff where it's, that's not going to work. That's not good enough. How do we do it better? And those organizations tend to just continue to improve. So it's just one of those things, man. Good people,
That's
happy
awesome,
people
man.
aren't good people.
What makes you happy?
Oh my gosh, so many things make me happy. The cold water makes me happy. Being in the mountains makes me happy. My kids succeeding and doing good work, or failing and bouncing back and trying again makes me happy. Getting to spend time with my wife makes me happy. Anything that I can do with people where we're laughing and having a good time makes me happy. Helping people makes me happy. Speaking on stages makes me happy. I like long drives in the woods. That makes me happy. Play fair, meaning make sure everybody's on the same page. If we're playing something, if we're all playing by the same set of rules, we're going to be successful, or more successful than if we think communication has happened and they go, that's not what I did. You didn't understand what I said, obviously, right? Play fair means make sure everybody's on the same page. Make sure everybody understands exactly what they're supposed to be doing, that they understand it, and that they can execute on it, and then show them that they've done that well. And work hard, play fair, and be kind always. Kindness goes a very long way.
Well, thanks, Geoff. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the mentorship, the friendship, and for all the laughs, and looking forward to connecting again soon.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me. Keep doing great work, man. I love what you're doing. I love seeing your stuff and your Friday funnies. I get those every week. They're awesome.
Good. Awesome. And thank you, everybody, for listening in. Every week we bring you interesting, exciting guests who help us be better, work hard, play hard, be kind, be fair, all those kinds of things. If you have any questions for either Geoff or I, you can reach Geoff at professionalsthatplay.com. You can reach myself at greg@gregkettner.com. But until next time, take care of each other, take care of yourself, and work happy. Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
How do I stop recording? Oh, I don't know.
So thank you so much, dude. Have a great day, man. Love you, brother.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. Cheers.
All right. Bye.
Bye.